Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Celebration Machine. My name's Pete Hammond, and today I have a very special guest, an old friend of mine from back when we were in college, back in the college days.
Yeah,
Actually, I didn't even finish that program. I don't know if you did, but
I did, yeah.
my guest today is the mighty, the powerful Peter Howcroft. Peter, how are you, man?
I'm all right. It's a month I dread because it's the same month my dad died and a lot of other deaths have happened. So, segue into my movie, Dealing with Dad's Death After Dementia. Trailer's on
All
YouTube.
right.
Because, yeah, it's funny. You tried to do this before and it didn't work out. And I remember you said afterwards, like your video on your channel, you mentioned maybe it just wasn't meant to work out that time. I've been thinking about that. I'm like, oh, we're going to record this the month of March, aren't we? The month where I just have so many things that have gone wrong in my life. Like, and my dad was just like one of them. Like, the anniversary of his death is March 5th. So here we are, March 1st. That's days away from now. So, oh boy. And so many other deaths. I mean, it's getting depressing already, isn't it?
Well, there's Peter with the morning's ray of sunshine report.
It's a Sunday. Sunny Sunday, huh? Not even sunny outside.
Sunday, bloody Sunday. Peter, who the hell are you? And why are we talking? Tell the people, man. What's
Well,
going on here today?
I made a documentary about watching my dad die in Newfoundland from dementia, and wasn't exactly originally the plan to make a movie about that. Originally, I was going to move from the DTS of Vancouver to where my parents retired in Newfoundland. My dad was from England, my mother's from Ontario, like me. And when I was in film school, they retired here. I was like, wow, please don't move there. I mean, I can't really have a career in Newfoundland in theater, TV, and movies, but they did. And I got tired of the horror stories of my dad, hearing stories of my dad not knowing how a toilet worked. So he would piss and shit anywhere. And my mother had to wake up every day as a retired nurse and find out, where's my dad? Where's my husband pooped and peed today? And not even recognizing his own reflection. So hearing those stories often enough, I was like, okay, I want to make a movie about learning about dementia. So I had to pack up my life in Vancouver, living above the Ovaltine Cafe, and I moved to Newfoundland in the middle of nowhere. And the nightmare of discovering that my dad went from being a charming British person like Michael Caine or Peter O'Toole, becoming one of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead. Not an exaggeration. You meet someone like my dad like that. I've like the rare time we ever brought him out into public, like to a doctor's appointment in the hospital, people would stare. Like, totally different person. So the shock of that July of 2010, trying to figure out, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with this movie. I have no idea. Like, I wasn't even going to make it about him or myself. And quickly, just like adjusting to who he was and what he'd become, and him not understanding English or understanding anything at all. I bought a camera, got a laptop for the editing program. I already had one, but I got one separately for it. Then I ended up recording most of the movie on an iPod Nano, like not knowing, because I'm, trained in film school, the old mini DVs and stuff, and 16 millimeter and all this stuff. And then all of a sudden, I'm getting the camera Future Shop, which doesn't even exist anymore as a store. That's how long this has gone on. And recording some of it. And the quality wasn't any different than the iPod Nano, because a lot of stuff I recorded, some of it was him in his bed at night, screaming and yelling 24/7. And the nightmare of him not knowing what's going on, not knowing what gravity is, completely locked in his own body, in his own mind, always trying to figure out what's going on with him, not knowing. And then a lot of the footage is actually conversations of us going shopping while my mother would go into stores, and me trying to talk to him like how we used to talk. And I did that for months, like fall of 2010 up until summer of 2011. At some point I gave up recording stuff because I'm like he had to go to, my mom had a vacation June of 2011. So and he had to go to respite because I couldn't take care of him myself. My mom would change the diapers, and I'd only help if we were in a hurry to go to like town or a doctor's appointment or something. So she made it personal between the two of them, diaper changing between husband and wife. Um, so he had to go to respite care, and I stopped shooting at that point. And I just kept uploading the content to YouTube to see how people would respond to it. And mainly just trolls. Like some people saying, "Hey, that's great." I got more responses from uploading the trailer on a positive note to YouTube July 2014, and then putting it on all over my caption pictures on my profile and my page, Angry Kitty Needs a Laugh, and getting people reaching out. The most interesting comment was a woman saying her husband was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia, and his only vice was smoking. And a doctor did a blood test and said he had 3 times the acceptable amount of carbon dioxide in his blood than the average person. And my dad, for him, the Lewy body dementia was probably affected more by the fact that he was a smoker and a functional alcoholic, and barely ever slept and took care of himself. And then the slow decline started with like having to get hip replacements and having to go through the surgery of that. Also, he had a minor heart attack a few months after he had part of his lung removed. After he got part of his lung removed from cancer, that's when things started to fall apart, and he had a minor heart attack, and things started to fall apart again.
I'm gonna ask you like when he first got diagnosed.
Oh yeah, I put
'Cause
that.
did you say 2010 or something?
No, that's when I moved. I first heard about it in 2008. My mom said he had a car accident, and in his own driveway, he pulled the vehicle so tightly in the way the um, driveway is configured that he turned the vehicle on its side, and then he got, you know, ambulance came, checked him out and all that, and he got tested for Lewy body dementia and was diagnosed with it. And then everything definitely went south after that. And my mom saying something like he stared at his driver's license for hours trying to figure out what was going on. He couldn't understand what was going on. So they took his license from him, and then they after that it was just further and further going downhill. Like when the last time I actually had any form of conversation with him was, and this is when I pretty much started to decide I have to move to Newfoundland from Vancouver, where I have nobody, just my mom and my dementia dad. And my mom's dog died, Mr. Yap. That was October or September-ish of 2009. So I first heard about the dementia in 2008, and the stories, the horror stories of not knowing what a toilet was and not recognizing his own reflection in the mirror and stuff. So, but the conversation was, I called. They gave me like a international phone card, so I could call from anywhere, payphone or whatever. So I used to call them from um, this payphone a couple floors down from where I would go to the gym. So I called first. I called. My dad picked up the phone. Her baby's dead on the floor. I have to she has to take care of her baby. And then he hung up on me. I'm like, I have no idea what the hell that means. I'm thinking he's having a flashback. All I know about dementia is like Alzheimer's. There was nothing like Lewy body dementia online other than like, there was nothing. There's no information. There was no examples. Before I came here in 2010, there was no examples of Lewy body dementia whatsoever. There was no idea of what I was dealing with. All I had was like whatever I saw in movies about Alzheimer's. That's it. You know, people are forgetful. They go back in time. They think they're 16 when they're actually 64 and stuff like that. There's nothing like preparing for someone who is like painfully thin, like someone out of a concentration camp. Like he was that thin. He was that terrible.
Have you, I mean, obviously you've had insights as you go through the process, because this is not just about, obviously it's not just about taking care of your father and helping him die essentially,
Mhm.
or even taking care of your mother, which you're doing now as well. So you're
Mhm.
kind of restarted, and but now you're in this limbo, like we spoke before we were recording. You're in this limbo. Um, what has been the most powerful insight you've had? Like, is there a moment where that you've had an insight or something hit you really hard that has stuck with you?
Well, when it comes to death, I've long since learned from having a Facebook friends list and people from all around the world dealing with friends and family getting sick and dying, pets. Everyone deals with death differently, and your relationship with that person who dies is going to change over time. You're going to have different thoughts and feelings. Like here in Newfoundland, when my dad died, it was not expected, but it was expected because he was at some point going to die, just
Mhm,
not that night in that way. Um,
mhm.
and when it came to the movie, I didn't know what I was going to do afterwards. I didn't have an ending, and it took a long time, a good, 10 years almost. So I've long, like, not really a lot of people on my 5,000 friend list said much to me when my dad died. Very few people. And it's taken me a long time to realize because what could you say? When people, like some people, their family member dies in a hospital room or they die in a car accident, or whatever. Like for me, I've witnessed 5 deaths in front of me. So I've seen death. It's not like a TV show or movie. It's not like, cut to your close up and you scream no and all this stuff. It's like different. With my dad, I didn't know he died till an hour after the fact. Like when the ambulance, I had to chase after an ambulance, lost twice that night. And when I came back, and found my dead dad in my mother's arms, leaned up against the freezer. I didn't even realize then he was dead. The ambulance attendants had to declare him dead for me to know that, oh, he died right in front of me before I even leaped into the vehicle to go find them lost for a second time. So death is different for everybody. But then there's all these other insights, but that's a long story that's not necessarily in the movie or what I talk about. They'd have to be a totally different movie because where I live in Newfoundland, I have a connection to this place going all the way back to my childhood. So when you're alone a lot, in sky gazing, you think about your whole life. It really is like meditation. You're going through all your memories. You're going through all these different experiences and tying it to the rest of the world.
Do you feel like you've gotten to know yourself a lot better? Like, how's your relationship with yourself changed since you've moved there and gone through all this?
I would say I'm a lot more forgiving of myself. Like what gave me the end of the movie was watching the whole world lose their mind over COVID and all the chaos that COVID brought the world. And I thought to myself, people are being terrible to their own friends and family if you don't follow the narrative put forth by the government and the media, all over a fear of being alone, a fear of death, friends, family, their own deaths, maybe, dealing with the potential of their own mortality. I thought, wow, I've gone through 10 years of this and you guys are losing it in 2 weeks. I'm a lot stronger than I thought when it comes to isolation and being alone and thinking of death because my dad was the third death I witnessed. First two was the DTS of Vancouver. And in a place like Vancouver, it's so chaotic and busy. You don't have time to process death. I didn't know I witnessed a death both times until after the fact. I'm like, oh, that was a body that went splat on the pavement on a Thursday afternoon while I was busy looking for somebody. That person's dead now. Or, oh, that intersection, the corner of Main and Hastings, there's police tape. That guy was stabbed in the throat and he died that way. Oh, it turns out I knew him from Food Lines. We used to talk about Christianity and Buddhism. Okay. Death is different for everybody. Like in this modern age, it's everywhere. You turn on the TV, there's a war going on. People are dying right now. You play a video game, you died 47 times that day. You don't even think twice about it because it's just a video game. Death is an interesting thing to deal with, like this beginning, ending, and what happens afterwards. I think the Buddhists were right. You got to stay in the moment and live your life while you have it because you don't know when it's going to end. You really don't. I was just thinking about Bob Saget, how he died. He was in a hotel room in, I think, Miami, and he just passed out, hit his head, and he died from just hitting his head. Probably wasn't thinking that was going to
Yeah.
happen today. So It's different for
Yeah, and
every.
then you've got Robin Williams who took himself out.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I read that somewhere. He didn't want to put his family through what he knew was coming, and he obviously didn't want to go through that himself. And there was some controversy whether that was a suicide from depression or a mercy killing that he did to himself, for himself, and others. So,
Mhm.
but regardless, um, you know, there's a lot to be there's a lot to be. I don't want to use the word gleaned, but you can learn a lot and get a lot from difficult experiences. But it's I'm just always fascinated with how people handle death or go through death. Obviously, as a funeral celebrant, I've seen a lot of it too and been through a lot of stuff. But and my coping skills or my understanding of it changes as I get more experienced and get older. But
Yeah.
do you feel like you're a much different version of yourself from the guy that moved to that island to the person that's talking to me right now?
Oh, definitely. Absolutely 100%. I'm not the same person at all. But at the same time, kind of sort of am because this is my second time going through a long period of isolation with the inability to just get on a bus and go meet some friends at a movie or go to a party or have dinner with somebody or join some arts group. Like when I was 19, I got a driver's license. I got out of Cumberland and I joined every arts group I could in Ottawa. I went to college. I had a black book filled with names and numbers. I always had someone to talk to. But for me here, it's Facebook. People from all around the world, many different backgrounds. It's never boring, the news feed. There's always somebody new to talk to or interact with, really. So people talk all about the negatives of social media. Social media saved my life. Like I don't know if I would have
Mhm.
lasted 15 years without people from around the world to talk to and interact with. So,
It's ironic that you're learning the importance of connection by being completely isolated on an island. But I guess you realize how important water is, in drinking it when you don't have it, right? So it's like,
yeah.
but there's also, and I mean, I'll speak to my own experience, and I'll ask you to be honest with your answer. Not that you haven't been, but I'll put you on the spot personally. And we spoke about it before. There was moments where I was incredibly angry and incredibly bitter, and when my father was dying. Um, and you're supposed to be the caregiver is, you're supposed to go through it with a smile on your face, and or at least, you want that for yourself. You don't want to feel like a shitty son or a selfish person by being honest about how you're feeling. But there
Mhm,
was moments like I told you, and I've told it to my family, you just want to end it because
mhm,
you can't take this watching someone dying or suffering, and you can't take um selfishly, the exhaustion and just the raw, the nerves and everything else that go along with being in that position. Did you feel like that? And is there a sense of resentment for having made the choice? Because obviously, we make all the choices, but you're kind of screwed, right?
mhm,
Excuse me. If you don't go, excuse me, if you don't go, you're the piece of shit son that doesn't care.
mhm,
And if you do go, you find yourself in the position you're in now.
mhm.
Is there any resentment on your end or bitterness or um, wishing you would have made a different choice? And again, I'm putting you on the spot, but
Yeah.
you're a kind of guy that doesn't mind that, to my
Mhm.
experience. So, and if there is, how do you handle that? And do you think there'll be more coming the longer you stay? I guess.
Well,
Nice light question for you, Pete.
when my dad was alive, no, it didn't even really enter my mind. There was the thought of like, well, if they had stayed in Ontario instead of moved to Newfoundland, as soon as I started hearing the horror stories of him not recognizing his own reflection in a window or a mirror and um, not knowing what a toilet was and all that stuff. If they had stayed in Ontario, I would have been there in 2008. I wouldn't have waited till I
Mhm.
lost my job in Vancouver and started making the plans to say goodbye to a city that I loved for 6 months before I moved here. And but since then, after his death, slowly but surely, yeah. I mean, not right off the bat, but over time, started realizing time's passing me by here, and I don't have any future here. Like, really, there's no career for theater, TV, and movies on this island of Newfoundland that can only exist in Ontario and BC. I mean, yeah, I'm a writer, but you also got to know people who are going to get something created. So I do have a lot of anger about it at times. And I just have to do it day by day because you can't, I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I really don't. Like if someone had told me in January of 2010 that this is where I'd be, I would have said, no way. They chose Newfoundland. I didn't. They should, if they moved to BC like I wanted them to, and again, I would have been there in the early stages and noticed he was changing and stuff, or it was Ontario. Maybe I would have made that decision to go back to Ontario sooner or whatever, and that would have been a different thing. But Newfoundland, no friends, and the only family I have, I'm going to be watching them die. So it doesn't make sense for me to go there unless I really had to, which it came a point where I had to because he couldn't. I don't know if I mentioned the whole last time I spoke to him was when my mom's dog died. And he picked up the phone and said, all he said was, her baby's dead on the floor. She has to bury her baby. And then I had to call back later to find out that her dog died. And then the next time I spoke to him, my mom was like, yeah, I don't think he's going to understand. And I'm like, okay, we'll put him on the phone. And all I heard was, "Durr." I'm like, what the hell was that? And then the phone dropped on the ground and I had to call back. Like he was gone. And this was like slowly part of the process of like, I have to go there. I don't know how much long he's got. I even thought the 6 months I gave myself to say goodbye and prepare to move back in 2010, strong possibility, no my luck, she'll die. And then I'll get here. And then it's like, I don't know what to do with him. Oh my God. Like the transformation, I had no idea what he became. There's no videotape of him being like that. There's a total, like I said, culture shock to see him like that. I don't exaggerate when I say he went from being charming British person to one of Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, a totally different person. Like total transformation.
So, Peter, I have two questions for you. The first one is, what are your hopes and dreams for this documentary? And the second one is, if you could go back in a time machine, what would you tell the Peter that showed up on the island years ago? What advice would you give him? Those are your questions, sir. Go.
Well, ideally, dealing with dad's death after dementia, trailer on YouTube. You can watch it for yourself. Over 500,000 views. Get a distributor. That's kind of the goal with doing a podcast like this one, is to get around the gatekeepers and trying to avoid having to do film festivals, which I'm still probably gonna have to do anyways. But trying to figure out how to get a distributor for it so people can see it. When I uploaded the trailer uh, back in July of 2014 and started putting it all over Facebook, some people would reach out to me, not just people who dealt with family members who had some form of dementia, but also people who had watched their family die of things like cancer and stuff, and just say, this trailer is important. People need to see movies like that. That's what helped keep me going through it all and not just give up on the fact that after my dad died, I don't know what I was going to do with it. You know, and it took till, like I said, COVID and seeing how people were how treating each other over how the media and the government told them to do certain things and people didn't even agree on those things, and the fear of like death and loneliness and stuff. That's when I got the end to it. So I think there's a lot to be said in what the journey was for the past the 14 years it took to finish it. So to get a distributor is, I guess, like people reaching out to me saying like, yeah, this made me feel like I'm not so alone in what I went through, even though it's not even necessarily exactly like dementia. Like I said, some people it was like family dying of cancer. Another way of like reminding everyone, like, because I think people went through when it came to COVID, that first step, as you were talking about before, what's the first step in the journey for a lot of people? Well, COVID was the first step for a lot of people realizing death is real. And guess what? It's everywhere. You can try and ignore the news, but when COVID happened, there was no, you know, you're forced to deal with it. You couldn't ignore the news. Most people ignore the news, like war happening and car accidents and plane crashes. And crime rates and stuff. But with COVID, there was no avoiding it. I think that's what happened to people. They suddenly had to deal with the reality of death and potentially being alone when it happens, as friends and family members were like elderly, like grandparents and stuff, and your parents. You couldn't even see them out of fear of maybe killing them with COVID. So I think that's when the movie really started to take on a new meaning for me, and that's how I came up with
Yeah.
the ending for it. So a distributor to get it out there, to let people know, like, we all have to deal with death in our own way, and for some people, some of us have more experience with it than others. So, what was
And if you could tell yourself back then, as you're landing on the island, what advice, if you appeared from the mist to the younger version of yourself, what would you say, Pete?
go back home to Vancouver.
Fucking run,
Right here, Ron.
run.
Get back on the plane now with your 2 cats. Get back. What are you doing there? Well, in some ways, it's better because I don't know what could have happened in that neighborhood. Like, of the 5 deaths, so it was the first 2 in that neighborhood. It's a violent neighborhood. It was always just you never knew when you were gonna, like, face death and what was gonna happen. Violence was everywhere, so but you can say that about anywhere. So I guess I can't change the past. I can't go back. I have to be day to day is the only way you can deal with things. It has to be a day-to-day process. So,
There is there
hopefully I get a distributor for this and I move on to the next step. I finished a screenplay called Top Dog, designed to be a play in a movie a decade ago, and I wanna start writing my next one. Which I've already when I go sky gazing, I write, and the last screenplay I finished writing in my head is called TP from My Bunghole. It's about zombies and aliens in Newfoundland. That's the next script I have to write. So,
well, there's a movie to make. You
yeah,
gotta call a buddy there from,
fun,
This Hour Is 22 Minutes. What's
maybe.
his name? He
I know,
he'll fucking he'd be in that movie.
maybe. You mean Sean Majumder?
Yeah, Sean Majumder. Yeah, Majumder, what's his last name?
Majumder.
Anyway, that guy.
Yeah,
He's great. He's a funny guy. He'd be in it.
yeah,
What the hell, man? You have it, just reach out. I think that's the thing. You gotta ask, you got we I think we're taught to wait for permission when we're kids, put up your hand when you gotta go pee in class and all that stuff and
yeah.
right, getting us turned into good little factory workers. But there's a real power in just asking, hey, choose yourself. I want to do this. Hey man, this is who I am. I live on the rock. I've got this screenplay. Let's make a movie,
Well,
and just do
have
it.
you ever seen the movie, Hobo with a Shotgun, Rutger Hauer?
No, I heard of it though.
The director's on my friends list. He does the documentary series, which is really good, called, Dark Side of Wrestling. He's a nice guy. He's
Okay.
friends list, so and I love that. I never got to ask him, "Why the hell do you have the theme song for the Raccoons, the animated show from CBC at the end of Hobo with a Shotgun?" It's, like, so out of place, but it made me emotional for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's so nostalgic, that song, you start crying. Like, what is this and that and the fact that, it's one of Rutger Hauer's last movies before he died, so but who knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
I gotta write the thing. I mean, it's written, but everything when it comes to screenplays from my past, I write it in my head first, and then it just flows out of me. I write longhand like Sylvester Stallone, so that would be the next goal. But I have one from a decade ago that should be done as a plan as a movie, and I was written Top Dog to be done in a very very cheap, just in a studio. This guy's in a
Yeah.
holding cell, having to meet people that have power of their lives, and the fight in their head. One guy's got to meet his wife, the other guy's got to meet his sister, and then another guy has to meet a guy who's like, this other guy, you have to get rid of him, you have to kill him, and that's designed to be a play in a movie as well. I just got to like get that one out there too. So I got something to write. I got something that's already written, designed to be playing a movie done for cheap, and then getting this documentary out. So it's stuff.
So so in the meantime though, you're on the island and now you're caregiving for your mom, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. But getting this out here,
All
like
right.
first step in the journey of 1,000 steps to get towards a distributor for it. And once this is flowing, like I said, figure out getting that screenplay out there that's already done and writing the other one. I'm pretty quick at writing screenplays once the story, the beginning, middle, and end is done. So that would be
Yeah. Well,
I think we
how about
finished.
this then? You don't have any advice for your younger self besides run.
Yes.
But all kidding aside, what would you tell somebody that this, like we said before, this is their day one, they've moved in with their parents?
Mhm.
Because essentially you've put your life on hold. I mean, okay,
Mhm.
that sounds cold because taking care of your family is part of your life, but I think people understand what I mean. Like let's say you're trying to train to be I don't know, you're trying to run triathlons and all of a sudden you've chosen
Mhm.
to become the caregiver.
Mhm.
Uh, that person is seeing this. What do you tell them, Pete? What do you tell them?
You
What's your
gotta
advice for that person?
you gotta try and figure out what your life would be beyond it. You gotta have something. For me, it's just been sky gazing because of the isolation, but because that's the other thing. If this happened in Ontario or BC, it would have been a totally different experience. But I came to Newfoundland knowing that I had nothing here. I had no friends. All I had was my dad in his dementia state and my mother. I brought 2 cats with me. My mom had a dog, and that was everything. So all I had was satellite TV and the internet and Facebook primarily, and also YouTube or whatever on the
Mhm.
internet. That's all I had. So for other people, it'd probably be sort of easier, but it depends because then there's other like if you have like family and you're dealing with that. Like funny story, there was a when I first got here, to give you an idea of the whole run thing, there was a woman from Newfoundland. She was on a talk radio show, and we're in town. And she came here from Alberta. She said all she wanted was she wanted the province to pay for her plane ticket home. Even though she's born and raised here, her family talked her into coming from Alberta back to Newfoundland to take care of their dad. And then the family screwed off. They just left her with it. And her mind, it's like they should have to, the government, provincial government should pay for me to have my ticket home to Alberta. And the guy was like, "I don't see why we should have to pay for you to, like, go back home. You should have to pay for yourself." "Well, I'm doing what the government it doesn't matter." I said and she just started losing it. "Come here to high water, I'm going home. Now see here, come here to high water, I'm going home." But I don't think they were, "Come here to high" she just got louder and louder, repeated the same thing over and over again. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Born and raised here, she didn't wanna be here. Alberta was her home. She did what she like, said she'd do with her family, and her family screwed off and left her to deal with it all by herself on an island she didn't want to come back to while they all just like, we're going back to our lifestyle and partying or whatever. So that was like, that was like 2 years into being here. My dad was still alive. I'm like, oh God, that is the voice of the future right there.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah.
and she's from here. Like she had friends and family and people she could reach out to. I had nobody. And she was like losing it. I'll always remember that.
Listen,
I'm here or
you're
high water. I'm going home.
you're not making that person whose day one is right now feel very good, Peter. They're like crying right now in a corner.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You gotta have a life beyond it. You have to figure something else out. For me, with skygazing, I had
You're basically your advice is listen, I had to figure it out. You're going to figure it out. Okay. I'm on
yeah,
a goddamn island by myself with 2 cats
and a dog, and yeah,
and a
nothing
dog.
around me.
That's
Got that
a
in mind too.
that's an uplifting podcast he's got there, that guy, Peter.
Yeah, you gotta have a
Figure your
in
shit
mind.
out, kids.
You gotta have a
All right,
creative
we're gonna start a side one. We're gonna start a side podcast called "The Angry Pirate," the lonely angry pirate, and it'll just be you fucking going off. I'll ask you questions. You're just like,
I'm
well,
just
here's
going
what I think about that. You all can go fuck yourselves. I got I got it up the arse for the past 14 years. You could take it up the arse for a few more.
You know
Oh
what's
fuck,
funny?
Pete.
There's a line there's a song that haunted me through the last couple of months. Been 14 years of silence. It's been 14 years of pain. It's been 14 years that are gone forever, and I'll never have again. Well, Guns N'
Yeah.
Roses. Use Your Illusion 1, written by Izzy Stradlin. That song goes through my head when I think, wow, exactly. It was exactly 14 years it took. Just like the song.
Yeah. Yeah. I know, man. It's definitely not easy. I mean, you know, it just I think that being on For those people that don't know, like Newfoundland's a pretty big island, and where Peter's living, he's there's like nothing there. He's isolated. And how many? You're like 2 hours from town, right?
Yeah.
From like getting society or whatever.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's a lot. Um, you mentioned Buddhism a couple times. Is that something you're interested in? Like, do you draw from Buddhism a lot, or
I've drawn from
what's
a
the
lot of
case there?
I've drawn from a lot of stuff. I mean, Tibetan Shambhala Buddhism I was introduced to a long time ago. Other faiths like Baha'i faith and so forth. So yeah, I learned to meditate a long time ago in Ottawa. Shambhala Buddhism, did some of it in Vancouver and a little bit in Toronto. Directly, no. Funny thing is, like a voice teacher I had, Ian, he was a Vietnam vet, this Jewish dude from New York. I remember asking him about Buddhism, and he said, "I'm a Buddhist, not a Buddhist." I said, "What does that mean?" It means like there's ideas from it I take, but I don't follow it strictly like any religion. I think that's the
Yeah.
best, like deal with stuff. Just take whatever works for you. Don't become stringent and strict about things, or it starts to become
Yeah, you don't necessarily have to go all in. You just take what works for you.
yeah, yeah,
Well,
very,
that's good, man.
yeah.
That's good.
That's why sky gazing to me, I call it the walking meditation. Like it is meditation. I'm you know breathing. I'm exercising. I'm stretching. I'm listening to music. I'm hiking. I go wherever my mind takes me. Whatever's brings some joy into my heart for that period. I'm always feeling free when I'm out there. I've never, even when the weather's against me, I'm never having a bad time when I sky gaze.
And there's a feeling of expansion when you're looking up at the stars. Like it's pretty. It can get overwhelming. I'm sure you know,
Oh, it's not just that. It's like,
especially with there's no light pollution either. So it's like
oh,
must
light
be pretty.
pollution. Like, I've learned more about cinematography from sky gazing than I ever did in film school. Like, there's a lot to be
Yeah,
learned by just being out there. In fact, I didn't know blue jays had a voice that sounds like an old phone. That's what they sound like. I didn't realize that
really.
noise. I thought I was in the Matrix. I'm like, that's a blue jay. They sound like an old phone, like an old ringing phone. I just never noticed that. Little things you see and realize that you didn't even know anything about before. So yeah, there's a lot
Wow.
to learn from sky gazing. Like it really is like getting to know yourself in meditation, but in motion. Like you don't have to sit there. I don't sit still. I almost never sit down, except when I fall asleep on
Yeah.
in a snowbank or something, which has happened. My record's
I
50.
I forgot to I forgot to ask you. Did your dad know you were doing? I mean, fuck. It's hard to tell what he knew, but did he know you were filming and doing this, and we're gonna put something out? Like, did you ever have a conversation that you think he retained from that?
He couldn't retain anything. And I don't think he really knew what was going on ever at all.
Okay.
Like there's like if we were talking, like I think I mentioned before, I used to have these Russell Peters like conversations. If you know his comedy, he'll try and pretend to be doing an accent. Like,
Yeah.
so my dad and I used to do that back and forth. And at some point, and it was like a
Okay.
normal conversation because he only understood tones of voice, not necessarily words. So he would sometimes at some
Oh.
point just in the conversation go, like, he just, "What the hell are we saying?" Like, some part of his brain went, "This isn't logical what we're saying," but the tones of voice sounded like we're maybe in an office talking about business, like, he only understood tones of voice. Angry, if he heard angry, he starts yelling. He hears laughter, he starts laughing, that sort of thing. A regular tone of voice like I'm speaking now sounds like something that would be normal to him. So I don't think he understood
Wow.
remember what that was anymore because he didn't understand gravity, that's for sure. Like one time we were waiting to go into town. He's in his wheelchair. I'm watching TV. My cat comes by his leg. I look down. I look up. All of a sudden, boom! Instantly, he's on the ground within a second or two. The wheelchair's up over his head like this. He's screaming, "Ah!" I'm like, what the heck it happened so fast. He really had no idea how that he just saw the cat and just went, "Arr," and fell on the cat, like fell towards the cat. Cat got out of the way, and the wheelchair was up over his head like a turtle out of its shell. So he really didn't understand what was going
Holy
on.
crap.
Yeah, he knew nothing anymore. If there was any understanding of things, it was very brief. He certainly understood how to eat. He would inhale food like a vacuum cleaner. He knew what food was. So there were certain human elements that were still left in a way of him understanding what was going on. Just like a child understood tones of voice, like what a harsh tone is and a softer tone, but not specific words. Even though the first year he did swear a lot. We were all bastards.
Yeah. So there was no, like, was there ever moments of lucidity at all where he realized like he was living this nightmare? Or?
Not that was communicatable in a way that was understandable for us. We always had to guess at what's
Okay.
going on in his head. Really did. It's not like
So there
all
was no like last words like in a movie. There was no, "Hey man, thanks for taking care of me," but he
no.
was far gone by the time
Yeah.
he actually died.
I don't remember the last conversation I had with him other than that night where the dog died and what he said, the words on the phone. That's the closest to a last conversation I had because I don't remember the
Yeah.
last. Because it was very abrupt too. Like I said, it went from like her baby's dead on the floor. I have to go bury she has to go bury her baby to like a few months later. He's like, duh, and the phone just drops on the floor. And once that happened, I was like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's on a fast track to not being there anymore.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Well, if it makes you feel any better, my dad's last words to me were "Peter Tabarnak," because I wouldn't bust him out of the hospital. He was mad,
Oh,
But I mean, whatever, man. Like that's when people are actively dying, it's strange things happen to their brains and everything else, and
yeah.
that's not how you want to remember people anyway. There was no hallmark um ending, I guess, in terms of like some
The,
speech between the two of us. I mean, I tried to spend a lot of time telling him about his life, kind of prepping him for death and the possibility of an adventure after that.
mhm.
And he was into that. That was cool. But yeah, no, that's Peter Tabarnak. And my sister bought me a shirt after he died that said Tabarnak on it with the Quebec Fear Fleur de Lis and all that. So I mean, it's funny. But we were, humor. You obviously you deploy humor as a weapon against the darkness.
Well,
Uh,
that's another part of the whole message that I learned from editing the movie and all these years of my life was comedy is tragedy with a sense of humility. Um, sense of humor is the quickest, easiest medicine. Laughter is the quickest, easiest medicine. Because
oh yeah, man.
you will run out of tears and you will get angry, and that depression and despair and tears and anger goes back and forth, but laughter is the quickest, easiest thing. And also with someone like my dad, because he would imitate what's going on around him, you put comedy on and there's like laughter. That's way better for someone like my dad with dementia versus like
Yeah.
because music was weird for him. Like hip hop would make him move, metal would make calm him down. My mother's new wave music would used to make him scream and get really psychotically angry, like that soft sounding stuff, and stuff from the trees, and he's screaming and yelling. He hated that. The polar op. You think metal would be like him getting all angry? No, calmed him down. What Megadeth or whatever,
Wow.
calmed him down, but not like that new age stuff with the sounds and he would scream and yell like I just nonstop.
He didn't like that.
Yeah. I remember that band Enigma?
You put Enya on and he fucking lost it.
Remember Enigma from the in '90s where they had Gregorian chant and they had, like, all kinds of sound?
Yes, yes, I do.
I
Yeah.
played the best of that in the car. He started screaming and yelling so loud, like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." He's like, "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." Every time he spoke English and understood English, he just sprang about it. Couldn't stand it. Couldn't stand it. Too much like mother's music.
But you said he liked metal, like
Yeah. And hip hop. He'd move to it. One time he did his mannerism. "You're like to voo-voo." I'm like, "What?" "You're like to voo-voo." "Yeah, dad, I like to voo-voo," whatever that is. Like, he'd make up language.
yeah.
He would make up language all the time. My favorite was Shaboo.
It's crazy, eh? The power of music, especially in dementia patients and stuff. Like it reaches deep into people,
Yeah.
um, and can bring them out of those catatonic states. Just like because I guess the attachment is so deep and powerful. But
Mhm.
yeah, sound in particular, right? Sound's interesting too, though, because it's like you said about your dad losing it on the soft stuff. Like it's like ASMR. It makes some people want to beat the living shit out of the people doing it when it's like that quiet stuff, and then other people puts them to sleep. So it's
Yeah.
Same with chewing. You know, when people like when I hear people chewing, I don't. It starts with an M, messil something. It's a, but I legit wanna hurt people when I hear them chewing. Like I get homicidal. It's nuts, man, and it's dumb. It's just somebody chewing. It's a sound, but for whatever reason, it
Yeah.
yeah, man. It's. But I mean, you know, talking about comedy and everything else, like this is a play. Like just the idea of being alive on a planet, like when you think deeply about those things, it's crazy, and you can really put yourself into some terrible states of mind. But it's
Mhm.
also if you can laugh about it and realize how like it's completely absurd, and it's totally up to you to decide how you want to experience this ride we're on, right?
Yeah.
But I'm with you with the comedy, man. Like there's a time to be serious or to take things seriously, but fuck, I got to make fun of it. I have
Mhm.
to make fun of it, especially if it's my own stuff. Like obviously, um, I mean, I guess I'm at that age now where if a friend told me they were dying of cancer, I'd be like, you know, I'm really, you know, I'm sorry to hear that, but like, fuck, man, I really like that shirt you're wearing, you know,
Can I have it?
because you know exactly right, like you know, or like how are things with your wife? You know, no, just kidding. If I was single, maybe I'd make that joke, but I love my wife and I'm happy, so I wouldn't make that joke. But the shirt thing, or you know, fuck, because I've been a patient and like, yeah, it's nice to hear, oh my God, like how you doing and everything. And of course we all respond to excuse me, sympathy or whatever, empathy. But at the same time, like a lot of times people don't want to think about the situation they're in. They don't think, you know, that fuck, it's all you're getting all the time, which is the danger, I think, of like if I ever got sick again, like really sick, I don't know that I'd put that on social media. I think I'd want to just kind of keep that in my circle because that's a lot of energy coming at you, you know? And I think that there's a lot of power in that energy.
Mhm.
So, man, I don't know. I'd be like, okay, so I'm sick with X, whatever.
Mhm.
If you think of me like super healthy 10 years from now, kicking ass, laughing about this, or think of me like having the best memories of me. I think
Mhm.
that's what I'd want because that's good shit coming at you, man. You
Mhm.
know, because hate to sound like, you know, whatever, but energy is real. There's something happens when you transfer energy or talk to people or
Mhm.
so I think it's dangerous when you put your shit on Facebook, like, you know, and then you get all this like sadness and heaviness coming at you. Like, and maybe there's a part of people that like the attention of that, and that
Mhm.
makes sense, but fuck, man, I don't think that's super healthy.
Mhm.
But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I've had a lot of head injuries, you know? N- Not hooked up, right?
It
No, so yeah,
depends.
even that. Like, I take that out of the law. I am perfectly fucking a okay.
It's
But
time
yeah,
to
comedy, man, humor. It
yeah.
feels good to laugh, and you
Yeah.
gotta laugh sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I used to wash my dad, and I'd make jokes about you know as I'm washing his butt and his fucking penis and his balls or whatever. Sorry, ladies, people, proper people. But when I be washing, I was trying to remember. I was telling my wife I made him laugh so hard his teeth almost fell out, and I can't remember what it was, but I was talking about his penis and the fact that he used to sleep around a lot when he was young,
Hmm.
and I can't remember what I said, but he laughed so hard, and in that moment, he wasn't like an old man in a shower getting washed by his son. He was just thinking about the old days, probably really good memories, and laughing at the fact that here we were, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I used to torture him. Like I'd say, "You got an ass like a." I said, "He said you got an ass like a kicked in sofa cushion," or something to that effect. But he loved it, right? Like
Yeah.
he loved it. When I just told you, like I found a book, one of
Mm.
his notebooks, as we were waiting to upload the last thing, and it said Peter's Muslim name hasn't been laid, and I just thought that was like, you know, I just thought that was funny. But
Mm.
some people might think that's politically incorrect. But whatever, you didn't know my dad, so
Yeah.
anyway,
For everybody, that's the problem.
well, fuck, man. I don't know. I think life is pretty serious, or
Yeah.
taken pretty seriously by most, and there's certainly things you gotta be serious about, but you gotta laugh too, buddy.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. Well
and again, like, the fact that you're on this island, like, I think you're missing a huge opportunity, Petey, because like, you should legit do a podcast about the situation you're in and just like channel it, man, because
Yeah.
you're creative, you love comedy, you're funny. Like I call it the lonely pirate or something, and just put your shit out there and talk to people, man.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
just
that's
a
what I'm
guy on an island, fucking trapped. You know,
that's what
shipwrecked.
this is, like, starting with you is the first podcast to try and get a distributor for dealing with dad's death after dementia. Trailer's on YouTube. I come from the
And I
genius.
mean, I hope that goes well, but
Yeah.
maybe there's something more to it. Like maybe, you put it out there and you just start doing a podcast about the absurdity of it all and and anything else
Yeah.
as the lonely pirate like, what's the town you live in or town? What's the area where you live in?
It's 2 hours south, so think of windmills. I'd rather not say other than that.
What is it called though?
Uh, I don't have to say.
Oh no, that's right. You don't want to say, but I was going to say like, if I live in, whatever, if you lived in Gatineau, shipwrecked in Gatineau or something, but maybe you don't want people knowing where you are. They'd
No,
never find you anyway.
I don't think they want where I live.
They
That's
look for some dude stargazing, like listening to music, dancing naked, talking to the aliens.
yeah,
But I think there's a lot of good there, Pete. I think, number one, it's very commendable that you did what you did. And I know words are meaningless, but a lot of people don't do what you did. And I think you deserve recognition for that, which isn't going to put money in your bank or any size on your ding dong. But from one person to another, good on you for stepping up and taking care of your family, as hard as that is.
yeah, thank
And
you.
I think there's some good shit coming your way, man. Not because it's owed to you or anything. I just think that, you know, the situation you're in can produce a lot of interesting perspectives. And I think from one creative to another, like, dude, you got to use it somehow,
Well, that's what the podcast
Otherwise,
journey's about, really, to keep talking to people like you for the next whatever period, and if that transitions into my doing my own podcast, sure. I mean, I hosted a radio show in Ottawa for 8 months and produced it and talked to creative people
the
throughout all.
Lonely Bastards Club, just isolated fucking people all over the world, man. And you guys just like, it's the possibilities are endless, man.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? And when it's like when you think, fuck, if I had money, I'd do this. If I had money, well, okay, but you don't right now. So what can I do with what I have?
yeah.
What can I do with what I have? And in Cape Breton, there's a great saying, and again, my wife will kill me if she hears this because it's crude and she's trying to clean me up a bit. But you got to piss with the cock you got,
Yeah.
right? You can wish and bitch and moan but it is what it is. You're in the situation you're in. You have what you have, and what are you going to do with it? So
Mm.
I think that as much as I hear the frustration in your voice at
Mhm.
times, and the resentment and all that stuff, which is 100% legit, dude. Like that's how 98% of people would feel
Mhm.
given your where you are. Because like I said, you were screwed either way, man. There was no decision to make really, because if you don't go, you're the shitty son, and if you do go, you're in for one hell of a ride that you just can't prepare for.
No,
But
I
now,
haven't.
no, and so there's no. It's like, you know.
Mhm.
But this is where you're at, and dude, I just think that there's something if you really kind of shift your thinking a bit and go, okay, well, like how can all of this shit and stuff like how can I turn this into something really really cool and fun?
Mhm.
Because I mean, you know, you you're a creative guy. You're in the situation you're in, and if I think that if you use it authentically, you could do something really interesting and
Mhm.
really fun.
No, I'm certainly
Because
open
there's
to
a
that.
lot of people, man. There's a lot of people that feel like you do in different situations, and
Mhm.
not that you want to start the miserable bastards club, you know what I mean? Like the fucking, but like you could start throwing some energy around with people, you know.
Yeah. Well, something like that. Yeah. There's lots of possibilities. Because, like, I was thinking of something, but not necessarily a podcast. Trying to remember his name. I think it's Mark Laity. He does something in Los Angeles called the Soft White Underbelly, I think's the name of it. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yeah. I know that dude. Yep.
Yeah, or
Yeah. He
something
just
like that.
interviews all kinds of people.
That's something I tried to do in the downtown east side of Vancouver, and I couldn't because back in the day, it's like mini DV tapes. You could only record so much. But
Yeah.
that's a possibility for this island because there's a lot of people on this island, like in the downtown east side of Vancouver, the type of people that he interviews and talks to. I mean, that's everywhere. And in Newfoundland, it's surprising how much of that there is. So who knows? Anything's possible. But
Oh
everything's
yeah. And dude, this filming the stars, man. Like just take people stargazing. Like I'd love to see that, you know? I'm
yeah.
sure lots of people would. And just like where you live, filming the ocean, feel like it's a powerful place, man.
Oh, I've done that.
And if you're there, right?
Yeah. I have those pictures
Yeah.
on my Facebook, and then I broke the camera, which made it longer for me to get the movie made.
Yeah, well, it is
But
what it is.
yeah. Wow, we
Well,
did.
listen, man,
We
we
got
got 33 minutes of uninterrupted take
I
here,
know. That's
which
a very
for
cool.
ladies and gentlemen, you got to know that Peter and I have been trying to do this for 17 years now. No, it's been the internet has not been kind to us, and we've been experiencing all kinds of issues and buffering. And this is like our fourth attempt at recording,
Yeah.
and we'll see how the magic of editing goes because this has been a nightmare process. But you know what? Uh, I'm glad we did it. I'm glad we spoke. I'm very excited to see what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Um, I really hope, you know, if anyone sees this and they can help Peter out with distribution or have any ideas of, you know, even if you made a website and put it out there, I think you just got to put it out there first of all. Forget the goddamn money, man. Just get it out there,
Oh, it's
and
not
then the
even
opportunities
that.
will come. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
put it
expect.
on YouTube, and then because it's like if you're holding out, um, it's like musicians these days. They're not getting paid for their music; they're getting paid to tour. So it's like,
Mhm.
you know, as much as it'd be nice to go that route, choose yourself, put it out there. Um, get behind it and then just see what comes your way and see what, you know, when you start hitting the bushes, what comes running out, you know?
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not a skunk that sprays you and
Yeah.
covers you in stench, but you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
put it out there, man, and keep moving and just keep going and doing shit. Cause, you know, you got the time, right? You got the time. We know you got the time,
Yeah.
but I'm glad we hammered through it. And, hopefully when I edit this, it looks good, sounds good, but, um, any final thoughts before I shut her down?
Well, it's funny you did say at some point, when we first time we tried it, the universe said it wasn't the right time. Funny thing is, the anniversary of my dad's death was 3 days ago, Sunday, March 8th, and the anniversary was Thursday, March 5th. And a lot of stuff normally goes bad this month. Like I've had aunts die, uncle die 3 years ago. No, 2 years ago, 2024, March. So I had three family members separately die in March 2024. 2015, my grandmother died under my mother's care. She had a stroke. Then 2021, she had a stroke about a week before March. A lot of bad things happen in March. This is the best thing that happened to me in March. So thank you.
W Well, you're welcome.
By
You're
far.
welcome, man.
I say that now I curse in this recording of 36 minutes won't go through and we'll be freaking swearing our asses off.
I'll be able to use this computer for the next 3 days as it downloads.
Jesus.
But anyways, man,
No,
I just what? I just wanna say thank
no,
you.
don't take 3 days.
Yeah, well, 36 minutes. I mean, you know,
Maybe we
I
should
wanna
cut.
say thank you, buddy. As much
Thank
as
you.
this has been an absolutely frustrating process, it has been good to to reconnect with you.
Yeah.
Just so you know, I quit the college program we were both in together back in Algonquin. I think I did a year and then I bailed out, but,
I think it was
that's
one,
where we met in theater school. We were theater kids.
I think it was just the one semester, wasn't it?
What's that?
I think you just did one semester.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't dude, it feels like a lifetime ago. I just remember I just was like, "Yeah, I can't do this."
Yeah.
I couldn't my brain was like, I couldn't remember things, like, because I had a lot of radiation to my like, from here to, like, here and then down below.
Oh,
And I
wow.
remember I had like cognitive issues post radiation where I was just like I could not remember anything. And I would do weird shit like I'd make cereal and I'd put the fucking milk in the where the glasses go or the bowls. Like I was all I think I got cooked a little bit.
Mm,
But yeah, I found like trying to remember anything for school, it just wasn't happening. And I'm not, theater was okay, but I think I just was like desperate to connect with people and do something creative. And I thought maybe that was the way, but it wasn't. But anyway, it was fun. I met some great people and
mhm.
uh and have some good memories but I was not destined to be a theater person, I guess.
Well, you did music, so that's
Yeah. More of a sacred clown. I've always been a clown. So that's
yeah,
more my vibe, more my jam.
yeah.
But anyways, man, I wish you the best of luck and do something cool with the situation you're in. And thank you for being honest and laughing with me. And I think there's a lot of good things can come your way, buddy, if you're open to it.
Mhm,
And I hope somebody watching, this gets something out of it and realizes, if you're having a hard time as well,
mhm.
there's a man on an island just sitting there with shitty internet.
Not that bad. Better than Bella Lion. I hate Bella Lion. I hate them so much.
Just
One that's better.
fuck. Oh man. Good things are coming. I'm telling you, there's gold. There's gold
Oh,
in them there hills, buddy.
yeah. So
Some great
what?
things are happening. And
40.
when you do, let me know so I can talk about it. Okay. And
All
do a
right.
follow up and all
This
that
again
good
in the
shit.
future. Could do this.
Not like I mean, listen, I'm just trying to build my own little shack here too.
Yeah.
Uh, but dude, you're a good shit and I wish you nothing but the best. And I'm going to wrap this up.
All
So,
right.
ladies and gentlemen, that was a conversation with a wonderful human being who shall be known from this point forward as the Angry Pirate. No, Peter Howcroft, everybody. Check out his movie when it comes out. Put it on YouTube, man. Just get it out there.
I
Dealing
can't.
with Dad's death after
Too
dementia.
long. It's too long for the format. I can't cut it anymore.
We'll
I'm
just
not
do
joking.
part one, part two, man. Part
Oh,
one, part two.
you're right.
Boom.
I could do it that
Executive producer credit, Pete Hammond. There you go.
Yeah, I could do it that way.
Fuck. You should have
Part
called me 14 years ago, man. You'd be fucking, we're totally different right
like
now.
2 hours and 10 minutes, that's for sure. Just worked for some reason. So,
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, check out Peter Howcroft. I'll put whatever socials you want me to put on. I'll tag you in the video or whatever, Petey. But this has been yet another episode of the Celebration Machine. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.
yeah. Bye-bye.